How can I use the Number Pieces app to find the product of a 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication problem? So we're in the Number Pieces app, and I have a blank workspace. And on the left-hand side, I have all these different tools that I can use to drag onto my workspace to help make a picture of my problem. I can choose all of my tiles to be the same color, which is yellow, or I can choose them to be different colors. And for today's demonstration, I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to start with a 2-digit times 2-digit problem. So I'm going to do something small so that I'm not making a 20-minute video here. Let's try 12 times 15. Okay, I can click and drag and move my equation up on top. So now what I need to do is drag the corresponding place values over to my workspace so I can make a picture of this. I'm going to start with making 12, and I'm going to make 12 going up and down this direction. So I'm going to drag a tens block here, and then I need 2 to represent the ones in my place value of this number. So here I have 1 and 2, and I can even snap these together. If I need to, I can zoom out and make my workspace a little bit larger so I have more room to work. And if I want to move multiple objects at a time, I can circle them and it'll select the whole thing, and then I can click and drag and move them all at once. So I'm going to move this down here a little bit. Now I've made a representation of 12. Here's my 10 and here's my 2 ones. That's 12. Now I'm going to make 15. So I'm going to click on a 10 and drag a 10 over here, and I have 5 in my ones place. So I'm going to do the same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, I'm going to drag them and just snap them into place. So now I have to start filling in my picture. What I have here is a 10 by 10, and I know that 10 times 10 equals 100, so I can drag my hundreds block over here. That's going to represent 100. Now I need to multiply my 10, which is right here, with my 5 ones. So I need to multiply my 10 by each of these, which is 1. So what does that look like? I'm going to drag 1 10 over, and that represents 10 times this 1. I'm going to do it again, snap them together. That represents 10 times this second one right there. And I'm going to continue until I have multiplied each 10 by each of these ones. So now if I check, I'm going to make sure that I have the same number of 10s under the same amount of ones up here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to do this part down here. So again, I have my 10 times this 1. 10 times 1 is, whoops, I'm going to delete that by clicking on the trash can because I got the wrong direction. Now I'm going to drag my 10 here, spread it apart just a little bit. Okay, so now this rod represents 10 times 1 is 10, and now I'm going to do it again. So I have 2 10s to go with these 2 1s, and I have 5 10s to go with these 5 1s. Now I have to represent what goes in this bottom corner, and these are all of my 1s. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here I have 2. So I know that 2 times 5 equals 10. So I'm going to drag and create an array that represents 5 times 2, or 2 times 5. Now something else you can do that's a little time saver is once you get one built, I can circle this and select the whole thing. Try that again. Okay, I have the whole thing selected, and I'm going to click on copy. And now I can snap it into place. Makes it a little bit easier and quicker to create your arrays. Okay, so now it's time to label. So I can label by using this if my handwriting is messy, but I'm just going to go ahead and use my digital ink. So I'm going to grab my digital ink and I'm going to choose black. So what do I have in this shape right here? Well, this represents 100. And drawing on a keyboard with digital ink is not easy, but just do the best you can. Now, how many 10s do I have here? I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So this equals 50. How many 10s do I have in this section? I have 10, 20, so I'm going to label that 20. And in this section, I have a 5 by 2, 5 by 2, or 5 times 2 is 10. So now what I'm going to do is count up all of my 100s. So I have a total of 100 plus, now I'm going to total up all of my 10s. So 50 plus 20, 50, 60, 70. And now I'm going to total up all of my 1s. And that's 10. So now this array is a picture of 170 and 10. So what does that look like? 100 and erase. Nope. There we go. Get my pen back. 180. So what is 12 times 15? Well, let's check that with our calculator. Or finish this answer right here. So I can double click and I can go back into editing mode and I can finish my equation. So 12 times 15 equals 180 and click on done. So this is what my equation looks like written using the multiplication symbol. This is what my equation looks like when I draw a picture using arrays. And then here's the number sentence that represents this array. So now let's talk about a perfect square array. What does that mean? What does it look like? Whenever you multiply a number by itself, the array that it creates is a perfect square. So for example, I have 9 times 9 in my equation up at top. And in my array, I have 9 cubes going this direction and 9 cubes going the other direction. So 9 times 9 is 81. It makes a perfect square. In this example, I have 10 times 10. I have 10 going across the top, 10 going across the side, and I know that 10 times 10 equals 100. The array makes a perfect square. And finally, I have 15 times 15. I have 15 units going across, I have 15 units going down the side, and I have 15 times 15 in my equation, which is 30. And again, this array makes a perfect square.